Do we have a group that wants to volunteer? Okay. All right. All right. Is Olivia on here? Okay, Olivia's right there. Olivia, heads or tails?
Head.
It was tails. Dang.
Does that mean I have to go first?
Do we have everyone from the cover group here?
No, this is Quicken Loans, but yeah, Quicken Loans goes first.
Oh, I thought they just lost the coin toss. Okay.
Yeah, Quicken Loans just lost the coin toss.
Okay, I have one question. Are we ourselves sharing our screen next Wednesday? Because for example, my group, we've started to like type up not necessarily a script, but like just notes we want to say while speaking. And I don't know how I'm supposed to share my screen and also have that up without them seeing it.
Well,
Do you have
presenting a PowerPoint, and you'll have, of course, you can put notes right on your PowerPoint, and you'll be able to see them, but we won't, presumably when you hit the presentation mode. So you'll be able to share your screen, which you can do right now, of course, if you want. You're enabled to do that. So that's the ultimate goal, is to have a PowerPoint that includes your assets in there, your whole goal statement and all of the things that you prepared should be in a coherent, 20 to 25 minute presentation at the most, and then plenty of room and time for questions and so forth. Did you guys prepare something like that or not?
It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint either. I mean, it could be a Prezi, any type of presentation that you create is fine. For that, Olivia, I would say, either you or somebody else share their screen who also has access to another screen, maybe a phone or something that they can look at notes on.
I can always make it like a physical thing too. I just want to let you know, like today, I don't have that since we've been working on it on the computer. So you guys can see we have a full PowerPoint, but you also might see our script on the side since.
That's okay.
I'll share it. I've got it pulled up on my phone. I'll share it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And I mean, my bad. Are there any other questions before we jump straight into this? Any other questions about the presentation? Or I mean, honestly, anything. Okay. All right, Quicken Loans. I am actually about to start a stopwatch. And then, so just let me know when you all are ready to start. 1 second, actually. Okay. All right.
You guys can see it, right?
Yep.
We can definitely see this. It actually looks really great. It looks just like Rocket Mortgage. But I won't talk the entire presentation, neither will anyone else. And just let me know when you are ready and I will start the stopwatch.
Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Anderley, and I am one of the 5 team members, a part of the Michigan State Branding Engagement class who worked on this Rocket Pro Insight campaign. We wanted to thank the Quicken Loans team for this opportunity and for everyone's time for being here tonight. Let's get started. First, I want everyone to get to know our team. As I just mentioned, my name is Olivia. I am a senior majoring in communication with a focus in interpersonal communication, and I am from Louisville, Kentucky.
Hi, my name is Abby. I'm a senior and majoring in communication with a minor in sales leadership, and I am from Northville, Michigan.
Hi, my name is Riley Kilgore. I'm majoring in communication with a concentration in interpersonal communication. I'm a senior and I'm from Vail, Colorado.
Hi, my name is Chloe Redeye, and I'm a senior double majoring in psychology and communication with a minor in leadership of organizations, and I'm from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
And I'm Brandon Weaver. I'm a senior studying communications with a minor in entrepreneurship, and I'm originally from Fenton, Michigan.
So an overview of Rocket Pro Insight. Quicken Loans, in this case, Rocket Pro Insight, specifically committed to making an online mortgage lending process the most efficient option for real estate agents and their clients. Real estate agents want to work with a lender that uses a product that they can rely on and that they're familiar with. That being said, Rocket Pro Insight app aims to create a process that real estate agents can rely on and will know the seamless and will be familiar with the seamless process. As you may know, for the first-time home buyer, applying for a loan can be a very scary process without knowledge of what is happening to your mortgage. The goal of Rocket Pro Insight is to take some of the stress away from both the home buyer and the real estate agent during the home buying process. This gives the ability for the realtor to monitor everything going on up until closing. The campaign goals from the 2021 REA campaign project brief is to close $8 billion in REA referrals, go from 4,000 to 6,000 Rocket Pro Insight accounts, which with the last time we talked to Quicken Loans, they mentioned they were at 7,000 signups as opposed to their original number of 4,000. We would like to increase the number of real estate agent referrals to around 5 Rocket Pro Insight users per year. Since the pandemic, real estate agents have focused more on technology to get in front of their customers and do their business. We believe that this app will continue to grow in popularity, with real estate agents looking to have a transparent window into the mortgage process. We would like to target real estate agents who have and/or have not worked with us in the past and could currently have clients in process with us. These real estate agents can be both on the listing and the buyer side of the transaction. The market will be extremely competitive, and with clients, we don't want to lose out to the house they will find, which is why they need a lender that understands what is at stake and will help them accomplish their goals.
For our approach, we had initial meetings with the Rocket Pro Insight team. And then we had, so for that's one of the biggest, so what the guy said was one of the real estate agents that we met up with, that's one of the biggest things agents have an issue with their lenders, and is trying to get updates where they and their client is in the process. So just having that platform and being able to share being able to tell where your client is in the process is fantastic. It saves a lot of time. And then majority of his agency is in their 20s and 30s, and that they would love to use the technology. And
so to provide a solution to the campaign goals, we've come up with a lot of marketing assets, including a new logo, creating new social media platforms, posting a Facebook post with copy, writing a video ad, and inventing a Rocket Pro Insight Club. So first, we would like to show you the new logo we've come up with. This is the logo. Inside a black outlined house is the recognizable magic O, which connects it to the Quicken Loan brand, but it also is differentiated with the word Insight in the house outline itself. We wanted to keep the logo super simple because one of Quicken Loan's isms is simplicity is genius, but also just by looking at this logo, you should be able to connect it with the Quicken Loans brand.
So the median age of a homeowner is about 47 years old. And for our marketing plan, we wanted to attack the homeowner, because if the homeowner knows about this platform, that's then going to translate over to more real estate agents signing up for the platform and want to be involved in it. With that being said, 76% of those individuals that are between 35 and 55 years old use Facebook, which makes this a huge platform for us to attack and market. So this is kind of an example of how this page will lay out. You can see at the top here, we'll have a little bit of branding there. The new logo will be on the side. With Rocket Pro, it'll ultimately be certified, which allows for features like swiping up, quick links, things like that. And then right here on the right, you see a brief description of what Rocket Pro Insight is. That way, when people know this and come to this page, they don't confuse it with other Rocket mortgage platforms. And this is what our publication will look like. So you have, the announcing of Rocket Pro, some of the benefits on the side. You see that there are bullet points with the logos, the quick link right there that you can just click and sign up, or you can go right to the App Store. And then it shows a little bit there of the screen of how the layout will look for clients. Just showing that for the real estate agent, it's an easier platform for you to use. You can see all of your customers right there, and then kind of reassuring the homeowner that the real estate agent is going to be there every step of the way and has the ability to just quickly log on and help out in any needs that there may be. And then finally, this is just briefly showing how they can interact. So these would be a couple customers, and then we had a real estate agents interacting here, showing how they like the app, Ultimately, they can like it, comment, and hopefully share in order to grow that reach.
So going along with the idea of social media, we decided to develop our content for an Instagram page as well. Our initial step was to look at the Instagram pages of other Quicken Loan companies. Through this process, we were able to compile information regarding the look and feel of their social media presence. During this search, we also determined that there was no content on Instagram regarding Rocket Pro Insight. There was a profile, which is all the way on the right of the screen, but there was no content, followers, or accounts followed for the page. It would be beneficial for there to be a Rocket Pro Insight Instagram page because it would allow for another outlet for advertising, especially since other Quicken Loans profiles have such a large following. By promoting the Rocket Pro Insight page on these other pages, Rocket Pro Insight would likely get more publicity, potentially leading to more signups for Rocket Pro Insight. After our creative content was developed, we made a mock Instagram page with the content to give you a better picture of what a Rocket Pro Insight Instagram page could look like. We utilized the creative content shared with us by Jordan Joseph from Quicken Loans that had been previously put into the market surrounding Rocket Pro Insight. These two pieces of content are depicted as small squares, both above and below the large dark red square on your screen. We took these pieces of content and conceptualized a social media advertising campaign for both signing up for Rocket Pro Insight and downloading the app. This piece of content, just like the examples, has a simplistic design. By moving the Rocket Pro Insight name from the bottom to the top, the topic of the advertisement has become more clear. In addition to this, the design of our social media post is more dynamic than the examples provided to us, which is more visually appealing on social media platforms such as Instagram. We also incorporated our newly created social media profile photo into this mock Instagram account.
So for our video advertisement, we have drafted a treatment along the right side of the screen, but basically our story would start with two split screens, and each screen would have a family in it. One side of the screen would have a family that's working with a realtor and using Rocket Pro Insight, and then the other side of the screen would be a family trying to use Slow and Loans as their mortgage lender. On the right side, with the family using Rocket Pro Insight, the process would be very fast and easy. The family would be moving in their boxes to their new home. On the left side of the screen, the Slow and Loans family would be struggling. Lots of chaos. The screen would be gray, gloomy, papers are flying everywhere, just not a good process. The commercial would end with the Slow and Loans family and the Rocket Pro Insight family meeting together as the split screens would end. And the Slow and Loans family would ask, how'd you do it? And the answer would simply be Rocket Pro Insight. And it would end with our logo and just an over voice of what Rocket Pro Insight is. And then once the video is made, we would push it out through Hulu or any other streaming like YouTube ads or HBO Max ads. We think Hulu is a really good choice because of a lot of the different features they have. For example, choice-based advertising is where you can select what type of ads you're seeing. So if you were buying a new car, you could choose car ads. But if you're buying a new house, you would choose those types of ads, and that's where you would see the Quicken Loans new commercial. According to Hulu, their ad selector is 150% more effective than regular TV ads. And at developing recall, it's 24% better at creating an intent to purchase. Although this might get less viewers to that specific ad, your viewers are going to be more inclined to actually make an account because that's the type of ads they want to see. Hulu also has interactive ads. So if you click on the ad itself, it can take you to Rocket Pro Insight's webpage, which you can't do when you're watching it on TV. And then also their branded entertainment selector allows viewers to choose where they want to see their ads. So you can watch the ad before your show starts or be interrupted during your program, which according to Hulu is nearly 200% more effective at creating top of mind awareness. And then lastly, along with the demographic we're going after, which is first-time homeowners, the demographic for Hulu watchers is an average of 30, which those two align, which is a good match. And then once you put it out on Hulu, you want to find out your budget to doing this. So Hulu 30-second ads are roughly $20 to $40 per 1,000 viewers. And this campaign's goal is you guys want to have 60,000 Rocket Pro Insight accounts. And last, you guys told us you guys had about 8,000. I'm lowballing that since based on the rate you guys told us, it has increased, which means there are 52,000 accounts unaccounted for. And then if you times that by about roughly 30 for the ad, that'd be $1.56 million for 52,000 viewers. So you must consider that not every viewer is going to make an account. However, even increasing the number of viewers, you're still going to get good viewership for your money, especially considering that a Super Bowl ad is at roughly $5.5 million just for the spot.
An idea that we came up with to help the sign up count and to grow this app for real estate agents is the certified club through Rocket Pro Insight, which is a certified realtor logo or a badge that will mark an elite group of agents who are certified through Quicken Loans. This aims to give realtors a platform to compete and stand out on because, as we know, real estate agents are very competitive by nature. We believe this club will give an incentive for real estate agents to earn the badge and in turn adds more signups for the agents in attempt to reach 60,000 signup goal. We learned this from real estate agents by having the badge would be a nice touch and the client seeing that they're a part of this elite club. And we thought that there might be a leaderboard that shows pure content, how many homes they've sold and who they've worked with. Thank you.
Okay. Great job. Let me make sure that you do two things up front. It's really good to have an attention getter. You guys went into it with your introductions, which is great. But then right after the introductions, you should have maybe a 20-second intro that tries to capture people's attention. A statement like, wouldn't it be great if there were a system that enabled people to make loans much more transparent and it would facilitate buyers working more closely with real estate agents. Wouldn't it be a perfect world if we could have a much smoother process for buying a home? And so just try and pull people in. And then at the end, you want to have a strong closer as well. The closer should be a sign of a summary of what you talked about. So you'd say in closing, it's the combination of these assets that are aimed at really trying to facilitate this relationship between buyers and realtors and create a much smoother and a much more transparent environment for the making of loans to try and elevate Rocket's position in the marketplace. You know, you really want to close with the key benefit to the client, because it's the last thing they're going to hear is what's in it for me, the client, to listen to this whole thing. And so you have to tell them, here's why it's important to listen. So you end as strong as you begin. So you have the attention getter, the pitch in the middle, and then the benefit statement at the end that really tells people what the benefit is of really signing up and making sure that this is the way to go. So it's a great presentation, loved it. I have some specific comments along the way, but I just wanted to talk for a second about the overall structure. I'll let David and Jay chime in at this point.
Yeah, no, I echo your concerns there, or rather advice, is because overall it was great and it actually looked really good. I think that your assets was really good. The Facebook page looked really good. I think that you guys are really dynamic in being able to lay out the importance of the Instagram and why it looks good. You didn't just arbitrarily say, here's your Instagram accounts, and just because we were assigned to make a social media strategy, but you said it would be important because it's another outlet for advertising. And I would say that another thing you guys should mention is that you could use the Instagram page to give tips and tricks that maybe the realtors can share stuff on. But regarding what Bill said about having a good, strong opener, he mentioned having an attention getter. And a good way to start that is, as he also mentioned, having a question. Wouldn't it be great if? And then you can make that a question rhetorical, because then people are going to start to get their minds going. So you introduce yourselves, you guys show each other's pictures and who you were and what your majors are. And that all sound impressive because you guys all have great resumes. I think every one of you is pursuing a minor, and you guys are all in like the same, and you guys are also a very diverse group. There's 2 of you that are from out of state here, and you guys are all within different majors, all within communications college, but different majors. So it looks like a dynamic group. People are like, okay, this is a good group going on. If you can get that attention getter to get this thing started off, it'd be great. Now you went right into your goals, which are close 8 billion in your referrals, get 4K to 60K users, and increase referrals to 5K per agent. If you were able to recap that at the very end, that'd be great too. So in conclusion, we think that the prior thing that we just mentioned would help us achieve our goals of closing 8 billion in referrals, REA referrals, getting the 4K to 60K users, and increasing referrals to 5 per agent. If I wrote that down properly, but I'm saying you're restating your goals at the very end. So you're kind of bookmarking or bookending your entire presentation and your goals there. So if you guys can start off strong, you get your intro, you get your little attention getter, you state your goals, you go through your presentation, which was great. It seems like you guys were all kind of on board there. Everybody knew where they were going. And then you end it with, so in conclusion, we think that all of this can do it. A, B, C, and D that we just touched over can achieve goals A, B, C, and D. We think that this could be a great campaign and dominate the marketplace, etc. Thank you. And then regarding the design of the actual.
David, let me make one more point about the intro. It would be, I think, real interesting. Think about this for a second. Really think about what this does, this Rocket Pro Insight package. What it really tries to accomplish is a stronger partnership between the realtor and the buyer. Right now, the realtor is cut out of the whole mortgage process. The realtor has nothing to do with it, and it's all on the buyer to do it. And for a lot of buyers, you'll find this when you buy your first house. Your head explodes with all the crap that you have to think about. And you really need a partner to help make this happen. And the partner has to have the resources available to be an experienced advisor, mentor through the process. It's just really important thing to do. The mortgage broker is going to help you walk through some of that, is going to help you walk through that stuff, but you need the realtor's set of eyes on it as well from their perspective of knowing the home to really make the partnership work effectively. So it's the realtor, the mortgage broker, and the buyer is the key partnership. So if you had a picture as your opener attention getter that says, the goal of this is to really make much better, tighter partnerships between the mortgage broker, the realtor, and the buyer to make the home experience go a lot more smoothly, a lot more quickly, a lot more effectively for everybody involved. And just say, how do we provide the resources then, particularly for the realtor? And it's not realtor, by the way, so pronounce it correctly. There's no A in realtor after the L, just realtor. How do we provide the resources to the realtor to make sure that they can be a strong partner with the buyer and the broker? Working is a partnership, working together to provide the best possible experience for the buyer. Because again, the mortgage broker and the buyer are sort of working separately from the realtor. And if the realtor can be a strong partner in this process, the home purchasing process is going to go a lot more smoothly. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that would be my recommendation, is have a picture there that gives, that pulls people into what it is you're trying to accomplish. And if you're able to build that partnership stronger, you're able to then, meet your performance objectives, you know, your sales and all the other specific numerical targets that you pointed out. Go ahead then, guys, and then we can talk about specific products.
Yeah, Jay, do you have anything?
Yeah. Did you both have anything else?
Yeah, I just had a couple of like design things that I noticed in there that I was gonna say. I didn't know if you want to talk about anything meta first.
Yeah, I was just gonna go through all of my notes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, first I want to echo what you both said. The attention getter, definitely the opener. I think, well, one, before I say any of that, great job. It looks really nice. I think that it really matches the aesthetic of Quicken Loans. You have a lot of great stuff in there. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, yes, I echo what Bill says about the attention getter and the opener. I really like the intro though. I like the, introducing yourselves and the our team slide. That looks really nice. I think, what we need more of is just like that anchor really, that's like anchoring the entire presentation. It's like, this is what we're here about, this is what this is about, and this is the meaning behind everything. I think we can get more of that in this presentation. Kind of like logistics versus meaning, because we got the goals, we want to increase the users, we want to do this, and then you get into like this social media marketing plan strategy. But like, I think we need more like paint the picture of why these things are important. Like Bill is saying, our goal is to increase the users. How do we do that? By making the relationship between the buyer and the seller, like all of these things that are more philosophical, that have more meaning. I think if you paint that picture and that vision a little bit more throughout the presentation, it'll carry, a lot better. So like, I don't know, just kind of dive deeper a little bit, I guess, dive deeper into not what you're doing, but like why you're doing it, right? What you're doing is important for sure, but like keep painting that picture of why this is important. Like David said, keep pointing back to the goals. Why are we doing this? Because we know, and you all did a really great job of that throughout this presentation too. Like when you talked about the intended audience and things like that. Here, let me just go through the notes really quickly from the beginning. I really love the intro, the great Our Team slide. Riley, was a really great transition from that Our Team slide into the overview slide. I really like how seamless it was. Like you knew exactly when it was time to come in. So more of that. And you did a great job on the goal slide as well. Abby, that transition from that slide to our approach, more seamless. It was like a little bit of pause. And I think that you were kind of trying to think of what to say. Maybe come in talking about, because you kind of got to it, maybe come in saying one of the biggest problems is this, because I think you came in and saying that I don't remember, but it wasn't really clear where you were going. So I think come in with that statement like the biggest problem is this, and then talk about how you have a goal to solve that problem. I think that's really powerful. You ended up doing it, but just make it a little bit more.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of what to say. I blanked out.
No, that's fine. That's just, and then Riley, I was gonna say you too. Like, I can see the reading, and that's fine. But just get more familiar with it, everybody, obviously, and like make it come off more like you are presenting it rather than reading it. And we can read along with you, that's fine. But if you just say it more like you're talking rather than you're reading it from the screen, it just comes off a little bit more smooth. Keep the energy up. I think that is really the goal here. Like keep the vibes high, and you're presenting something that you want to be infectious to them. You want them to be like, you know what, I don't remember everything from presentation, but I know that I want to work with these guys. I know I want to work with these people. Actually, sorry, I shouldn't say guys. I know I want to work with these people. I don't want to work
term.
with yeah. And then Olivia, you went through the marketing plan really, really fast. Like super fast, and the slide was probably only up for like a minute. So I think give us a little bit more time and go through and kind of, paint that picture a little bit more. But I really like the description of the logo and the connections to the isms that you brought up. That was really I know that the Quicken Loans are going to like that. So everything that you're saying is great. If you can like take a little bit more time to paint the picture too, because I think you also did the treatment for the video. Did you, Olivia?
Yeah.
Yeah, the treatment for the video. Here, let me skip down. Where did maybe like a goal when you open up with that video, maybe saying like, our goal with this video is to display the speed and convenience of Rocket Insight or something like that. Like start it off kind of like, again, that anchor, and then take us through how you plan to achieve that goal. Right. I think a lot of assets that you brought up could use that anchor. Brandon, you did a really great job with the explanation of the audience though. Like talking about what audience you want to go to and why Facebook is the right tactic for it, and then also explaining those tactics through visual mock-ups that were amazing. Those visual mock-ups look really great. I think it's one of the strongest aspects of your presentation. So definitely did a great job explaining that, Brandon. I really like that part of it. Chloe, the Instagram deconstruction was top notch. Just breaking down, I looked up this Rocket Pro Insight, there's nothing there. And that's a problem. Like explaining like the issues with the existing brand identity is one of the tasks of a brand architect. And to be able to like clearly represent that for your clients, I think is gonna be huge. So definitely do that. Am I going too fast, y'all? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. All right. I got like 3 more. Oh, yes, the choice. Okay, so the Hulu breakdown was amazing. Like I really love that part. To be able to say that, we want to use these videos and ads, specifically Hulu, because we did a lot of research on this, and it's 150% better in this area, 24% more interactive, whatever. Like I don't even remember all of the stats, but it was enough stats to make me say they know what they're talking about. One thing I didn't like about it though was the budget breakdown. 1.5 million for 50,000 people does not seem right. Did I get that wrong? Is that what you said?
They said it was like $20 to $40 per every 1,000 viewers.
Yes, so 52,000 viewers would see it for $30 for 1,000 viewers means 52,000 people would see it at $1.56 million.
Yeah, I don't like that number at all. I think if that's the number, that we should scratch that. Because
Okay.
then you compared it to the Super Bowl, which is definitely just makes the number seem even more ridiculous because the Super Bowl had a viewership of 100 million people. So I mean, I'm paying 5 million to get 100 million people to see my ad. I'm not paying $1 million to get 50,000 people to see it. So if that's like, we could probably do without that. And I would say maybe do more meta budget. What is it going to cost for this entire campaign to work? Including the social media, including even the graphics. The graphics I think was a strong part of your campaign because you made this clear visual. You had this clear visual campaign on your social media, and I think that's going to be great. And like David said, you can do other things like little tips for, what are they called, the realtors or whatever. It's a lot of stuff that you can do on social media. So I like this social media push. I think that all it's missing is that anchor, like in the beginning, just centering us and saying, this is the goal. This is how we plan to achieve this goal because these things are important, knowing that these are important to Quicken Loans in general. So you're already going to be hitting the right strings. I think just take us through that like that and just get a little bit more descriptive in places like the video and things like that. But check that budget for sure, because I mean, if I was Quicken Loans and I saw that, I'm like, no. This presentation was great, but I'm not paying 1.5 million to reach 50,000 people. Is that, David? Does that sound right? Like,
Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good point. And but also your hearts are and the minds are in the right place. But then think about it strategically that way. That is expensive just to get 1.5 million people, and you can get 1.5 million viewers on, if it's the right TV show.
No, they said $1.5 million.
Well, I'm sorry, 1.5 million dollars, 50,000. Yeah, 50,000 people could be, Tuesday night on any random show. For the right viewership, you can get millions of people. Like Euphoria, I haven't even checked the Euphoria numbers yet, but I know that just dropped last Sunday, and that's got to be way over. That's HBO Max. So just thinking about those numbers, Jay's right. You can get a 30-second Super Bowl ad for about $1 million. That's not including production and everything. I think that Quicken Loans, they said it was about $10 million with production, with paying for all the cast and everything, and then shooting a 1-minute commercial for the Super Bowl. That was $10 million. But a Super Bowl slot is $1 million. So like Jay mentioned, you can get 100 million viewership for the same price almost there. So you might want to mention a Super Bowl commercial, which is
for some reason I feel like it's I feel like that's not right. I feel like it can't be that expensive to promote on Hulu.
Right.
But I don't know. But if it is there. I like all of the facts before that about how Hulu is better, but then when you get to the money, it's just like, all right. I mean,
like the money.
Because honestly, any client that you're pitching to, that's all they're gonna be thinking about. How much it's gonna cost me, and is what you are giving me, is the value that you give me worth what I'm gonna be spending, right? We talked about this in the first day of class. You know, the value that you're providing, they have to deem, you know, is worth them, you know, sacrificing capital, honestly, their money. So, yeah. Other than that, I think, you know, like I said, it looks really nice. You know, it was other than a couple of pauses. I think right before the video treatment, it was a pause. I don't know what that was about, but like, you know, we can just cut those out and get the transitions right, be more clear and visual about, because I would really like to be taken through that video. That video is a really great idea. But if you set it up in the beginning and say, this is what we're trying to, what we're trying to bring out of this video is we're trying to get people to think this way. We're trying to make people react this way. We're trying to get people to understand that Quicken Loans has they put a lot of emphasis on speed and convenience, all of these things. And then you visually paint the picture of the whole video. I think even right there, just boost up your presentation a little bit more, because now people are like, oh, that was a great video idea. The social media plan sounds great. They have all the goals planned out. Like, it seems promising. Okay. At the very least, I'm willing to hear more. All right. So if I feel like you do those things, you definitely increase quality of the presentation.
Yeah, and that'll come with rehearsal. I mean, if you were able to rehearse it at least, you know, one more time this whole week, and then again that Wednesday before class, you guys were on it and you were already familiar with it. You know, you can kind of tell the difference between the team that practices and the team that doesn't. A team that doesn't practice looks like Michigan State at times. The Lions. A team that does practice looks like Alabama. You know, you can tell the way that they can drive the ball, they already know everything's set up ahead of time. They can do no huddle offenses for entire drives and get touchdowns all day because they know exactly where to go and what to do at 2nd and 5, you know, 3rd and 10, like they know what to do. So if you guys knew what to do, hey, this is coming up here, I got my transition, and everybody's just aware on it, you'll get it. So it looks great overall. I would say just a couple things to super tighten it up. On the logo page there, it does say simplicity of genius, and that's nice. I would say if you guys can you guys animate your PowerPoint? You know what I'm saying? Like where a slide comes up and then you press a button and then like another thing comes on the screen. You press a button and another thing comes on the screen. Can you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So like if you had the logo come up first and it's just a logo so we can focus on that, then you can press a button and say, hey, and the reason we chose that is because click, simplicity is genius, one of Quicken Loans isms and stuff too. And it makes it more of a, okay, I see what they were doing there. But this way we can see the logo first and we can concentrate on the logo. Also, I would say put simplicity as genius below the logo, not above it, because the logo should take precedence here. So again, we're reading from left to right, top to bottom. Facebook page looks great. Like I said, Instagram, that whole thing looks great. Also on you had a cursor present on the video treatment. So the graphic for the video treatment on the right-hand side, where it showed like your type up version of the video treatment, you must have took a screenshot of the video treatment with your cursor on it. So, you know, like a user's in on a Google Doc and there's like that green cursor there, that's present. So just a simple way to clean it up. Again, details are the key here. Just take another screenshot without that cursor being there in your video treatment. And then, yeah, you make a better intro and conclusion. You guys have those transitions right. Quicken Loan's going to give you all the money, all the internships, all the props for this. It looks really good, really good. Yeah. That's a top-notch presentation.
Back up semi and unload the cash right in your door.
Right here, Casey, this way.
Right there.
And speaking of detail, Olivia, the profile picture looks amazing. The house with the whatever, what is it called? The upside down
Magic O. Yeah.
Magic O.
Yeah, that's nice, and I like the explanation of that. And I did notice that the Magic O is the bullet point. So good job with that. That looks great. And what was the last thing I was gonna say? Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Well, while you're thinking about that, Jay, I don't know that you had a picture of the badge that for the club, the little club thing that fits into your lapel or whatever, the little golden thing, but it's I just assume it's the logo, right? That you're with the house and the Magic O in it. I assume that that's what the club logo would be that realtors would wear.
Didn't y'all make a badge?
Yeah, so Chris is gonna make that for us. We talked to him today, and he was doing the stuff on the plane, and he told us to reach back out to him if we needed to fix stuff. So we had to reach back out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about too. That last slide looked a little bare, and I think that it kind of like, I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention all the way because I was trying to write down notes, but I didn't really hear the gist of that badge. So Riley, maybe if we can explain a little bit more and explain how, again, just reassure that it's going to be beneficial to the overall meta goal of the entire campaign and where it fits in. You probably did that. I apologize if I missed it, but that was just, and then I do agree with David's point on ending, bringing us back to the whole thing. These are the goals. We explain how we gonna achieve those goals, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yep. And these things just occur to me too, is that you guys, when you're doing the video presentation, just like Jay mentioned, I remember last week when we were talking about the video, that video is badass. And if you guys can really articulate that, that commercial in a good way that helps them see the vision of it again in their mind's eye, I think that's gonna be one of the huge selling points. They're gonna be like, these kids are on point.
You might use that commercial, like really.
They might actually use that commercial. And Quicken Loans, they have a $600 million budget to use that commercial. I remember when we sat down with Casey, he said $75,000 if it were missing, it's a rounding error. 75,000 is nothing. Like, to produce that commercial, they could easily make that commercial, and you guys could get the props for writing that. So, get some money while you're students there. That's they could pull you in. Great idea. To sell it, you really gotta sell it. You gotta paint the vision. Okay, so we open up. It's a split screen here. On this side is Slow Loans. It's the mortgage company. It's the Wells Fargo. It's the traditional Slow company, right? On the fast side is Quicken Loans. 8-time JD Power Award Associate winner. These guys get the job done, right? You really want to sell the commercial on them. So if you guys can do stuff like that, not only in the video treatment, but throughout the whole time, and you really did well in your social media area too. You're totally on point with that. But specifically, if you can get that on your video treatment too, tighten that part up, because we were dying last week when we loved that commercial. So
I'm telling you,
help them love it too.
We're not playing. This is how you close the deal. You literally just gotta paint the vision. This is what David does so well in meetings. I'm ready to sign where the money at. Like, how much did the money look right? And David is there painting the picture, like an artist he is. And it's such a deadly combo. And then obviously Bill, he's there with the credibility and the knowledge, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And you all can
I supply the cool factor.
Bill come in with the shades, the transitions.
Yeah.
And so the last thing too, you all had time to dive deeper into it. It was only 13 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah. So you had about at least 10 more minutes that you could have used, diving deeper into explanation and making it more visually prevalent. So, you just practice it, get more familiar with it, focus on those transitions, add those couple of things, and it'll be amazing. Maybe have, a stopwatch on the side of you too, just so you can keep up with the time and see how much more time you got there.
And paste it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good though. 90% there. You're good.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. So I think your ideas are great, and we're just talking about moving the presentation, not the substance of it as much, but just crafting it into a presentation that makes it a lot easier for the client to say yes, because they can understand. Again, don't rush through it. I know the tendency is to move through it rapidly, because you always think you have less time than you actually do. So, just take your time, explain things, make sure people understand, and you'll be fine in terms of time.
Yeah. Any questions? You guys have any questions or comments for us or anything?
Or Kroger, do you have anything that you want to say to Quicken Loans about their project? Okay. Or any questions from Quicken Loans about anything that we said? Okay. Hopefully somebody's taking notes, and I got that.
Yeah, and you again over the next week, you guys can feel free to hit us up. You can practice again with us if you'd like to get it tighter and things. We're available for that. So just keep in mind, like we said, you're 90% there. It looks really amazing. The presentation looks good, clean, thoughtful. You guys are doing really good. So
great job.
That up and you guys will be.
Let's go to Kroger.
Okay.
Who's presenting?
I can share my screen for it.
All right, Max.
And yeah, full disclosure, we had the same sort of situation with Chris where he's still finishing a couple of our graphics, but other than that, we have everything else. So
yeah, I talked to Chris earlier today. I think he's in like Philly or something like that.
Yeah.
but he's
Yep.
definitely committed to working with you all and getting everything crispy by next
Oh.
week. All right, Max, same thing. Let me know when you're ready to start, and I will press go on this.
All right, 1 second. Okay, can everybody see this?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's good.
All right, Robert, you can take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your time tonight. We are extremely excited to share what we've created for this Kroger Total Rewards campaign in collaboration with MSU Comp 399 with the leadership of Bill, Jay, and David. Max, you can go to the... My name is Robert.
My name is Max. Oh, what are we doing?
Name's Josie.
My name is Gabby.
We want to give a special thanks to our amazing Kroger team featuring Andrew, Joe, and Rachel. They've been extremely great resources throughout this entire campaign. Our campaign directs the focus to internal Kroger employees, including 17,000 hourly associates and 850 management associates. Within this target audience, there are also external employees that we have targeted through various channels.
So our plan for the target audience is our overall objective is that we want to bring awareness to Kroger's Total Rewards program in hopes that we can increase job satisfaction for present and future Kroger associates. So essentially our campaign is an awareness campaign to get associates to enroll and utilize their benefits, but we also want to focus on how using these benefits will increase job satisfaction with Kroger overall. So something that we'll be touching on a little later, but a company-wide survey that we issue annually to employees returned a satisfaction score of 38% on total rewards. And our goal is to increase that to 80%. So this ties back to why we want to bring awareness to the total rewards program. So not only do we want to bring awareness to the program, but we also want to provide associates with any and all information on how to properly enroll in these benefits and how it will therefore benefit their future. We also want to retain employees and make sure that the Total Rewards program will motivate them to stick with Kroger as a career and discourage them from working with other competitors in the future. And all of these things combined will promote job satisfaction within Kroger, create a reliable and positive work environment, and will show our associates that we care about them, their family, and their future.
Okay, our distribution strategy, our first thought was that we were going to take advantage of Kroger's KTV. It's their own television that we have access to. And this would give us access to all the internal associates. This can be played for any like scheduled programs, as well as our strategy was to think about putting it before employees take the test as far as employee satisfaction goes, and so that they're reminded of their benefits before they take their test, so that they can go, oh yeah, I remember, this is what Kroger does for me. And again, we hope that that will increase the scores. As well as we're going to use social media as another touch point to reach internal employees, as well as like potentially hitting external associates that we could get, as far as like showing that advertising like a positive work environment will also, because like when we get into our video treatment, we'll talk about the testimonials, and hopefully that will encourage people to come apply within Kroger, as well as show that we promote this positive work environment for the internal employees to further want to investigate as far as their total rewards goes. This will be easy to implement because we can just use the KTV commercial and just redistribute it via free social media platforms at no extra cost. And this will let us hit larger audiences, as well as our printed media. Matt, explain.
And yeah, our last form of media for our distribution strategy is, of course, our print media. We plan on sending out an email press release to all employees, as well as posting posters and brochures throughout Kroger locations. Again, this is really nice because all associates or potential associates can have access to these, especially for the posters and brochures, and they're relatively easy to create and reuse after a long time. So we plan on distributing these brochures to internal employees by stacking them at checkout counters in Kroger stores as well as break rooms, and also distributing these same brochures to employees during the hiring process, so they're more inclined to enroll in Total Rewards or at least inquire about more information. About the posters, we plan to have those in Kroger stores highlighting employees who have rolled in the Total Rewards and sort of giving a little bit of a testimonial. And of course, these posters would be a variety of ages and demographics. And as you see later, we chose this demographic of a younger girl because we wanted to help our campaign appeal to college students. So for our marketing goals, one of our biggest ones is to raise awareness for the Total Rewards program, right? That's the main kind of objective of our campaign. But it's also important for our employees to enroll in the Total Rewards program. That's what we talked with Kroger a lot about in our initial consultation and final consultation meetings, that they wanted to get more employees taking advantage of their extra $21 an hour, roughly, with their hidden paycheck.
Building off of and using those previous two goals mentioned, we strive to increase employee retention among all levels of Kroger employees. The goal for this is by raising awareness in the Total Rewards program and by getting more employees enrolled in the Total Rewards program, they're going to be more satisfied with their job and they will stay at Kroger longer. After meeting with the Kroger team multiple times, they have stressed that they really want their employees to stay with them over the course of the time because keeping the same employee helps the work culture, the work environment, and it helps push the narratives that they're trying to push within their Kroger stores. We also want to increase Total Rewards scores on employee surveys, as Gabby and Josie have mentioned before. There's an annual survey given out to every Kroger employee that they have to answer a set of questions on based on how satisfied they are with certain aspects within working from Kroger. And as Gabby mentioned, there's a 38% satisfaction score for the Total Rewards package that Kroger offers right now. Their goal is the 80%. We plan on reaching this goal by implementing our video treatment before the survey, as Josie mentioned. This way we have an easy direct access right before they are answering the questions that relate to the Total Rewards package.
After coming up with this campaign, we were emphasized from the Kroger team that there's this hidden paycheck that technically employees are getting an extra $21 an hour. And so when we were looking into that, we thought it would be a good idea to give this hidden paycheck its own like Geico lizard almost, where that it can be its stamp for Kroger's Total Rewards campaign that ties everything together. So our plan is to put our hidden piggy on all of our touch points so that it can connect all of the Total Rewards posters, brochures, all of the media we have collected or created, and ties it all together so that when people see or associates see this hidden paycheck piggy, they not only want to know more about it, but it again helps spread the word of the campaign just because of this cute animation that people can talk about or help acknowledge. So we thought it would be a good idea to give this stamp to the campaign and again put this hidden paycheck piggy on everything as an emphasis to the call of action of trying to get associates to fully understand what is in this hidden paycheck. So we again haven't gotten back our brochures yet, or well, we got back our management brochure, but we are still waiting on our hourly one. But as far as this one, this is going to look a lot like our management one. However, we chose to do a different color scheme, same style, different color scheme, just so you can distinguish between the two of them. And then these will be passed out like for new hire people. It'll be given with their handbook. It'll be a good way to set aside all of what Kroger has to offer for these employees in its own like file that they can, in physical copy that they can take home, as well as it's bright. It's going to make them want to look at it and fully understand what Kroger offers them without having to read through the whole handbook or everything else that is not necessarily like what they want to be. It's our way of putting the information that they want to see out on paper rather than making them go search for it themselves.
This is our internal management brochure that we had Chris Lemon design. There was some miscommunication with this, so this won't be the final brochure that we will be presenting Kroger, but this is a great one to use right now just to kind of emphasize that on certain sections of it, we want the Total Rewards logo and the Kroger logo, and we also want the hidden paycheck. Jay, I saw your comment, sorry. We also want to emphasize the hidden paycheck because, as we mentioned throughout our meetings with Kroger, they really want to emphasize that hidden paycheck and bring that awareness to all of their employees. So if you see the left side of this brochure, the far right panel of it, if you will, that's the front of this brochure, and the middle of that would be the back of the brochure. So as we know, when a brochure is folds, there's only two sides that you can see, and then it opens up to much more. And throughout the brochure, we're including 401k information, Roth 401k information, Kroger's total contribution to employees, and certain health and medical benefits that are specific to certain employees employed by Kroger.
And yeah, for the poster, we decided to do, like I said before, a person that highlighted, you know, a certain associate that highlighted what the Total Rewards was doing for them. So in this case, like I said earlier, we picked a sort of younger girl because we wanted to appeal to a younger demographic. And like this, we just wanted to, again, have these hanging around the stores so that potential associates or associates working in the store get reminded of the Total Rewards program. Following that is our press release. This, we decided we wanted to, the easiest way would be to email to all associates. This would, again, very much impact our internal management and hourly associates. Like I said before, this is an email notification. This reinforces all of our hidden paycheck benefits because that was one of the things we wanted to focus on the most. And also, this, we wanted it to just be a broad overview of the Total Rewards package so that at least if people didn't immediately enroll in Total Rewards after seeing this piece of content, that they at least contacted HR to ask more questions, or the other contacted the phone number or the email that we had listed in our press release.
With access to KTV, the far reach of social media, and an internal emailing system, we created a video treatment that uses positive employee testimonials that reinforce certain aspects of the Total Rewards program. Our thought is we're going to first display a did you know fact about a specific Kroger Total Reward, whichever one it may be, it doesn't matter. We show that, and then we give a testimonial from an employee speaking on that Total Reward. Then it cuts to another graphic of another did you know fact, and another employee then follows that with their positive testimonial. And you do that for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you can distribute it, like we mentioned before the KTV sessions. So it can be playing for up to a minute before then. You can send it within the internal emailing system so employees can watch it. And the minute long it's a flexible length, but we believe after some video engagement research and how long we feel we would want to watch a video about Total Rewards, we don't think we should exceed a minute long with this. And this overall video treatment, the goal here, as it always is to keep the employees satisfied with the Total Rewards package that they are offered, while also engaging more with those Total Rewards. And so at the end, we had this idea to kind of bring together 32 employees or so, which would all correspond to the equivalent rectangle on the screen that then a Kroger logo pans over, and then the Total Rewards logo pans over, and they all get together and they all say, "We aren't just America's grocer. Behind the scenes, we are a family of associates." By saying this, we kind of acknowledge the total scale of Kroger and the impact that it has throughout communities. And then we also use a catchphrase such as "family of associates" that makes those employees feel like they are the family that Kroger has raised for over 100 years. For the budget, after talking with Joe from Kroger about this specific video treatment, he gave a rough estimate of about 6,000 to 7,000 for a 1-minute video production. He also emphasized that because of Kroger's scale and their size, similar to Quicken Loans, their budget is kind of flexible as well. He said if Kroger enjoys anything to a certain extent, they're going to pay for it and they're going to use it. But as far as the brochures and posters go for this campaign, we have done some rough research and we've priced them out to be around $2,500 and $1,500 respectively, making the initial investment around $10,000.
Our future investments, so if everything does work out and this does deem itself successful, we would like to add more, and then there will be reoccurring costs of implementing this in other stores. So there's going to be also the cost of reprinting brochures, as well as other touch points such as posters that should be updated every 5 years or so. Brochures wouldn't need to be updated as much as long as the information on them stays current. And hopefully with this, we can improve or see an improvement in employee satisfaction. And with that, like, we're hoping that the retention amongst employees remains high.
So yeah, in conclusion, during our campaign, we think there should be about 19,000 internal employees affected, both hourly and on the management side. Obviously, there's potential for more if our content is used externally. That's if people walk in the store and they pick up a brochure and think, oh, I didn't know Kroger offered this for their associates. Maybe I want to apply for a job here. Also, we talked about possible expansion. So this could expand to more statewide or regional or even national campaigns eventually. And again, we just wanted to reinforce that we have multiple touch points for current and future associates to interact with all about our campaign. That was the biggest thing. We wanted to create as many touch points as we could so that either current or future associates could always interact with some part of our campaign when they go to a Kroger location. Also, another big part we wanted to kind of reinforce was new hires were given more easy to understand information about Total Rewards, like Josie talked about earlier. Giving them that brochure at their initial hire would make it much more likely for them to either think about Total Rewards because they wouldn't have to read about the entire handbook or the entitled benefits package, which is about 60 pages long. So yeah, with that, thank you for listening to our presentation, and we can take some questions.
All right. Good job. Sounds again like you guys have thought this through carefully and have an understanding. Could you go back to like the second slide? Could you keep that up, and I'd like to go through the slides a bit.
Yeah, 1 second. Okay, can you see this again?
Go from the beginning. Can you go from the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah. Go to the next slide. And I like the intro from the other team a little better in terms of not just giving your first names, but talking about who you are and where you're from and your first and last name and stuff like that. Just it just seems more personable to do that. So we have 4 very attractive, interesting, fresh-faced students here that, you know, the Kroger team is going to love to make sure that they know who they are. So, but I like the slide and the little cameos and everything. That's real cute. Go to the next slide. Next slide, Max, if you can.
Sorry.
So this is the same issue that the first team had in terms of an attention getter that's really needed between that intro slide and the next slide. And it's more or less kind of the, you know, the problem statement. You know, Kroger has this great rewards program, and gosh, only about 35 or whatever the number is, small percentage of people know about it and have signed up for it. And it's really a shame that we don't have more participation. We would love to bolster that to 80%. And just say, imagine, you know, if we had 80%, what a much more engaged, long-term, lower turnover kind of group of people, associates we would have if we were able to reach that goal. So just right away, here's what we're trying to accomplish, is to really raise the bar on participation in total rewards. Now we know everybody's okay, so that's what we're doing here. We're trying to make sure that there's greater utilization of this, and we're creating all these assets to accomplish that goal. And I think this slide is fine, and it says here's the target audience, here's the plan, and so on and so forth. I'll go to the next slide. Now, I think there's too much on this slide. So what I would probably do, I don't know how Jay and David feel about this, but we spent a long time on this slide. And if you want to make it on one slide, that's fine, but just have us focus on what you're talking about rather than the whole thing. Because while you're talking about KTV, I'm also reading social media and print media.
Right.
So if we just had the KTV part, and then you're done talking about that, then the social media part pops up, then the print media part pops up. Just so that there's more of a flow there and the slides look more dynamic, because right now the slides look a little too static to communicate the kind of energy that you're trying to bring to this presentation. So try to add a little bit more motion in here in terms of the first thing, the second thing, the third thing. I don't even remember if the same person talked about each of these 3 things. Max, did you talk about each of these 3 or not?
No, we split them up.
Yeah, so when whoever's talking, their part pops up, and again, it can be 3 separate slides, and you have the time to do that. But it also looks like more stuff rather than stuff on one slide. You know, what's the distribution strategy, and then that whoever gives that part can talk about the KTV, social media, and print media, and how it all sort of integrates. So I think less time on just one slide, less static kinds of presentation, more dynamic, more movement in the slides, I think keeps the audience's attention better. Next slide. Now the same for this slide. What I would like to see here is you have arrow 1 pop up, and then arrow 2 pops up, and then arrow 3 pops up, and then arrow 4 pops up. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about each of these, just to make, again, it a little bit more dynamic. You might want to make this slide a little bit more interesting with different colors, maybe a picture or something that makes it look a little bit more jazzy. So for example, one thing that could be done throughout this whole thing to jazz it up is a little bit is to have the Miss Piggy logo or the piggy bank logo, and somehow incorporate that as a piece. And then maybe people, your Kroger people see it, but then they don't know what it is. And then you hit them with what the piggy bank really means in terms of the hidden paycheck idea. but you're using this as a kind of a way of integrating the slides, and you're showing it throughout. I think that would be effective. You could either talk about it up front, or you could just slide it in there and not tell anybody about it, and then hit them with it later on when you talk about it. Next slide. Okay, so this is where you hit them with the piggy thing. Have you got a specific logo that you're going to use? Is it that middle one, or what?
Yeah, that was one thing we had to talk more with Chris about.
Okay. And you know, it's it would be nice if we had, you know, I like the middle one's got, it's got some attitude associated with it. Plus you got the money part, but talk to him about what an effective, simple, but, you know, meaningful logo would look like. Maybe it's more explicit, maybe it's less explicit. It's not my area, but I just like this logo. And if we could sort of illustrate its effectiveness in pulling these ideas together and how it would be infused in all of the different assets, I think would be effective. All right, that's all I have to say. Guys, you want to pop in?
Yeah, let's go back a couple slides. Let's go back to the intro. So with the very intro, with your, obviously with your faces and everything, echoing Bill's, they come in one each. You guys can say your first, last names, what your majors are, who you are, instead of just Robert, Max, Josie, Gabby. You know, you guys are more dynamic people than that. So let's just let the team know about that. I like the special thanks to your Kroger team as well. That's awesome. You guys have their names down there. That's great. And I think that, Robert, your intro was good. You know, the very first thing you did was say, you know, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Your gratitude is the attitude. So you said, thank you for joining us. And we're excited to show you this. That's a great intro. So at the beginning, I was like, wow, I even wrote that down. And then it went right from that into this. And it was like, oh, you're kind of weak on this page. So if you can go from that, thank you so much for coming. We're grateful for you guys being here. We're excited to show you what we have to offer. You know, we've been working hard on this. You guys have been. And then you go into who you guys are. That'd be a great way to kind of catch everybody in. Special thanks to Andrew, Joe, and Rachel from the Kroger team for working on us with this. And give us the opportunity to present this to you guys.
Yeah, popping up one at a time is a great idea when each person talks, and it kind of gives you the cue to talk as well. Also, Robert, make sure you have more light on your face so that we can see you better when you're presenting next week.
Yeah.
You're now just using the light of the computer screen, which really isn't enough. Really,
yeah, even my lights right now is like not enough.
You need some greater light to illuminate your face a little better. even if it's your phone, you know, that you hold under your face or something like that, you know. I don't know how you would do that.
Want to see how that would look real quick?
Yeah, I don't think, but anyway, put it here. I don't know. That's too distracting to do, but any kind of light that you can use to lighten your face up would be helpful. That goes for everybody presenting, is make sure that you have enough light so that you have people can see who you are. Josie's outside because she's in California and it's beautiful out there, so we can see her. But, you know, again, just make sure, Max, you could probably brighten yours a tad too, a little bit.
Yeah, Josie's got the pine cone too. Nice pine cone, Josie. So with the next page, just pop quiz, guys. When we start building the brand identity, what's the first step in building our brand identity? Who can tell us? One of the students. Kroger team or Quicken Loans team, what's the first steps?
Defining the target audience, isn't it?
Step 2. So what we want to do is, when we want to show our goals first, I think the third slide after this, the first one is your audience. The second one is your distribution thing, but we don't even know who are our audience for what, and why are we distributing anything. Your third one, your goals, should be your next slide. And not even your next slide. What the second slide after your intro should be what the campaign is. It should just almost be a logo of Total Rewards. So it should be like, you know, we're the Kroger team. This is specifically who we are, and we're here to tell you about the Total Rewards program. Slide 3 should just be like almost a logo, or just like something about the Total Rewards program. a line under it with like your
and then an articulation of the problem, as I talked about. Wouldn't it be great if everybody did this?
Right. Wouldn't it be great if this happened? So, wouldn't it be great if we all worked for a company that took care of a 401k for us, that gave us all these benefits? Well, we do when working for Kroger, but not a lot of associates know that. So with our campaign, click, our goals are, and then that would be your goal page. So your goal page should come before this consumer analysis page. You have to call consumer analysis. I mean, that seems like a little stiff. Use some more of the Kroger languages here. Maybe target audience, yeah. Campaign audience would be like better thing to say. Campaign audience, or like a campaign target. Just consumer analysis maybe sounds like a little dry. Maybe if it was more of like a financial company, that makes sense. But Kroger's a little more playful, a little more fun. So kind of, again, we're trying to use their language. So put that goal page here. This should be after that. So you have your intro slide, which is who you are, total rewards, what the campaign specifically is, then goals, why the campaign is, then your consumer analysis, who the campaign is speaking to, then how you're going to talk to the consumer audience, which is click over the next one. Distribution strategy. And like Bill mentioned, these can all be on 3 different slides. You guys can be honest, have you watched the Kroger campaign presentation from last semester?
Yeah.
You guys have?
We all have multiple times.
They did a good job, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they did a badass job. So one of the things they did is that if you notice, they used almost the Krogies as like one, it was like the women's edge. It was just one Krogi for the whole slide. Then it was, minority leadership, which is like a whole nother one. So any one of these could be a full slide on its own. And distribution strategy, you don't even have to put those bullets. You can even keep those bullets for yourselves if you want to. I mean, you can bring them up on the page. I'm just trying to get you to think about it from a different design standpoint. One thing could just be distribution strategy, and then boom, KTV, just a logo, and then you can speak on the bullets yourselves. Then boom, social media, just the logos, and you can speak on that yourself. And then boom, print media, you can just speak on that. You don't have to show the bullets. Now you can show the bullets. It's up to your discretion. I'm just saying, trying to think about this a little more dynamically. If you did show all these, like Bill mentioned in his analysis, you're all going to come up individually because, like he said, you guys have all taken lectures with professors. If they show you all the slides, or if all the slides are available, you're going to go read ahead. You're going to go read ahead while people are still presenting on whatever's in front of you. So you only want to show them. Yeah. It's like a magic trick. You only want the audience to see what you're showing them at the time. So be deliberate in what you're showing them. And that means that you can either animate the slide itself or put them in the separate slides. So keep that in mind. Let's go forward.
Jay or David, I do have a question before we keep going.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a little confused because for the marketing plan that is that you guys wrote up for us to kind of follow and everything, the reason we have titled our slides distribution strategy, consumer analysis, marketing goals analysis,
that's what was on the outline.
All the kind of techie stuff. That's the stuff that's in the marketing plan. I'm reading it right now. And it says consumer analysis platform, marketing goals analysis, brand strategy and tactics, budget / projections. Is that not what you wanted us to follow? Because I texted Jay earlier today, and he also told me that we don't need a fully written document of our marketing plan, but we have to hit on everything within our presentation. So if we didn't include the distribution strategy title, or we didn't include the consumer analysis title, we didn't want to get penalized for that because we didn't call it that. So just keep that in mind. It's not like we thought of these slide titles, I guess.
Of course. Yeah, right now what we're doing too is, don't think we're harping on you. We're on the same team.
Right. I was just making sure that we didn't have to have them titled that, or we didn't I was just a little confused with that.
Yeah, so when we did that, like that's the outline. Think about it, like whenever we go and we make a new one for a client ourselves, we use those as an outline, but as like, it's gonna be a distribution strategy, but it doesn't need to specifically be called a distribution strategy. Now, in this case, actually distribution strategy works great, but say like consumer analysis, because this is a service and it's being provided by Kroger to its internal employees, it's not really a consumer analysis specifically, even though that's what the thing that you're doing is. It would be, from a framework perspective, it would be like, yeah, it's consumer analysis within the framework of the presentation, but you could call it something differently. It'd be more like an associate, audience. There's just a better word for it. If we sat here and we went over the copy together, we would think about a better word. Yeah. So So it's a little more loosely, but I do see where you're coming from, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you bringing that up too. Yeah. So, do you know what I'm saying? Within the framework
Oh
of
no, yeah, for sure.
gut
We can go through and we'll make it more like the Kroger kind of writing and copyright that we should have. But I thought we had to kind of make it pretty explicit where we're including the certain parts of the marketing plan within our presentation. So that's
and don't get me wrong, Robert, you can totally do it this way and you would totally get by and like no one's going to say anything, but it's just using their language and kind of like being a little more playful with them.
Yeah.
That's just the extra spices that are going to make them be like, these guys.
Adapting to the audience. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So yeah, let's go ahead. And thank you for bringing that up. Any other time in this, please do what you just did. I appreciate that. We're riffing. Go to the next slide. Okay, this is your marketing goals. Yeah, just as Bill mentioned, yeah, just click. And then like little logos pop up at the bottom. I always think that to make these slides more dynamic, if you notice in the last Kroger one, they used those little guys called Krogies. If you threw in some Krogies here and there, even though the Kroger team didn't give them to you, but you know that they're used within the Kroger. Like if you shop at any Kroger stores, do you guys shop at Kroger? No? Yeah. Try to, if you can, if you're going shopping anytime, Max, this next week, just try to pop in a Kroger store. Oh, there's none by you in St. John.
Well, if you just Google Krogi, they'll all pop up. And
yeah, Krogi, they'll pop up. It's just
the images, and you can just cut and paste the images right into your
PNG. And we might have some for you too that we can send you to from last semester.
And maybe the pig also looks a little bit like a Krogi because
that's the style right there. That's what I was going to
very stylized, sort of. They look like little characters that you would find in Legos or something. They have these little round heads and these little bodies and stuff like that.
Almost like they look like clay.
Sorry, I was just going to say that was kind of, we talked with Chris Lemon for like 10 minutes earlier today. And that's one of the things we talked to him about because of the miscommunication or whatever. He wasn't anticipating having all of our stuff done until next Wednesday. So I think we still did plan on asking him for a couple of Krogies to implement within our slideshow and also kind of design and animate the pig to match that style. It might not like have to be a specific Krogi pig that we talked about, but just match the style of it. Yeah, so it's all kind of like, the playful, fun Kroger vibe. Yeah,
and Chris can do that too. So he'll make you something cool that the Kroger team's gonna be like, okay, cool. The next slide is Krogies, right? Can you hit that over? Or the piggy? Yeah, it's a paycheck piggy. I would say in the bullet point, do that. Say in the style of the Krogi. So is it a piggy? Maybe he has a cape on. Maybe he flies in. He's here to help you save money, or he's here to help you tip something. But you want to paint what that piggy looks like, because it's a great idea. I think that when Rachel and these guys, I can already see them smiling, and be like, oh, I can see them. Like we've been working for them for like a year and a half now. We kind of know them a little while. They'll like this. It's a matter again of just painting that vision for them. And one of the things, is the hidden paycheck piggy keeps restating the benefits of total rewards. You know what it reminds me of? You guys ever remember using like Microsoft Word back in the day and they had the paperclip that pops up?
Yeah.
And little paper clips always got like a little idea for you. It's kind of like that, like, hey, just the paycheck piggy popping up to tell you again that, you get the 401k, He's like one of those guys. And you want to paint what that looks like. If he has like a little mask on his face, or if he has a cape, or if he has, that's just what comes into my mind. But you want to paint what the piggy looks like. And then, like you mentioned, Chris, he'll be able to make you a Krogi version of that, and it'll look really good too. So, all right, let's go to the next slide. Oh, sure. Okay. Channel management. This all looks good. This looks really good. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so for this one, this looks great. I was wondering, so did your team make this, or did Chris make this?
I made this, but then Chris just tweaked some stuff. Yeah.
Okay. See, I would say you should also add a second one, just because you do get the millennial demographic with this. She's a second year, maybe post-college student, whatever. We should think about getting like another Generation X type person too. Emily Paris. It could be, Bob Hope, 12th year associate. He has a family. I love that I'm taking advantage of my total rewards at Kroger. I'm setting up a future for my family, just to get both demographics there. You got the younger crowd, and you got a second one for the older crowd, just to paint that as well.
I think to get a little bit more specific, David, we could do a poster of a management employee, because the two areas of target for our campaign are hourly associates and management. And since this covers the hourly, I think it wouldn't be that hard for us to just go create another poster with the management employee.
Yeah, and make the management employee that.
You also ought to you also ought to increase diversity of the people that you're demonstrating there as well, just to make sure you have a nice diverse crowd, because that was the Kroger presentation from last semester. And, you know, they're trying to promote more diversity among managers. So you can find,
Take a screenshot of me real quick.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say?
That's what you need. Put a mask on them and
it'd be
use
funny
Jay's
if you
picture.
get a picture of Joe Gussman, because he's a little more lighthearted. He might, like, if you just had a picture of Joe, like, I'm Joe.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
He's black. Remember that.
If you guys do talk to him ahead of time next time, like, Joe, just how many years have you been in Kroger? Just like kind of get like a little bit of information so you can put that in the thing. Because if you pull that up, they would die. And Joe's the kind of guy, he's a good sport. He'd play with that. So just something to keep in mind.
It's a good idea.
Let's go to the next slide.
Idea.
Press release. Okay, this is good. Oh, also here in that slide where it says Kroger, I can see your cursor right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just get that again. Let's go to the next one. I like the little piggy that you had in the last one too. This is good.
And bring up your bullet points one at a time if you can. Think about that, just so that again, we're not reading ahead.
Yeah, we can do that on all the slides we created.
Yeah. Excellent.
Make them all pop in as we say them.
Excellent.
Yeah, and again, paint this vision more. In fact, have you guys heard of a show called Mad Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Men. So maybe just like watch a couple of YouTube videos on how they present and stuff like that. And they really just paint the vision for you, because you have a great commercial here. It's just a matter of articulating it in a way that helps it unfold. But you know, this is pretty much good to go. Just think about being a little more dramatic with it, a little more directing with it. Next slide. Budget. Okay, we like that. For the budget, it's all good. And I know that you did it with us this time. Is like you mentioned, like Joe mentioned that you had this and they have more flexibility. Just don't frame the flexibility in the presentation itself. Don't mention that the Kroger team told you they have a bigger budget and that you guys can do what you want to. You're being hired as the consultation team to give them answers and not be like, you know, we have a little bit of work to do. No, it's this reason because this, and this is why you're gonna want it. So our total initial investment is $10,000. You're gonna get the initial video, the brochures, flyers, and then moving forward, you guys mentioned this. And when we go to other stores, we're gonna increase that, but let's just see how it works in the beginning. This is what's gonna get us our initial implementation. Also a timeline. Is this budget gonna be good for 90 days? It's 6 months? How long is this right here? It's an initial investment, but how long does that initial go before we have to make a sophomore investment as well? Something to keep in mind. And then when you guys are ready to the next slide. Okay, I like how you guys did this again. Conclusion. Yeah, again, the bullet points coming down again, but I like how you guys wrapped it. So it did start off in the beginning. You guys start off in the target audience, but if you brought what the campaign was and the goals were in the beginning, this is a great way to wrap it up. That's that bookend. It's that bookend thing again. So conclusion, all 19,000 employees will be affected by this. You know, potentially more if the content is used externally as well. Statewide and regional campaigns can come in this, multiple touch points in this, that are new hires. So you reiterate every single one of your goals here at the end as well. It's almost like the exact same bullet points. And then you have your little Proji again, paycheck piggy. Give him maybe even give him like a little mouth saying, you know, that's quacktastic or something. He's just saying a little, because what'd you guys say? You guys had a really good, the good catchphrase, the family of associates. I like that. So you guys already given little catchphrases and kind of give them something else to work with there, painting their imagination. So maybe you can put that catchphrase at the end here again too, like Kroger Total Rewards. Like obviously you want to have the Total Rewards logo here at the end because it's what the campaign's on. And then your catchphrase of, you know, taking care of the family of associates or something like that, or something to just to round it off here at the very end at the bottom. Because then click over, you have one more slide, don't you? Thank you. Love it. With the logos. You probably only need to put the logo one time here and then the paycheck piggy on the other side. And then that's a great final logo. And then one last meta thing I'd say for the design is maybe think about changing the typography a little bit. It looks kind of like basic PowerPoint, like Helvetica or Arial type font. And it's the basic like bullet points of like a solid bullet point and then a hollow bullet point. And, you know, just maybe make those a little bit more dynamic. Again, think about making these little this little work-life health money thing, if Lemon can kind of give that to you, if he can give that exact same thing to you, but take out work-life health money, and then that can be your bullet point, and you can put that throughout the presentation, that could be really good. Something to consider. But other than that, I mean, it seems like you guys have it all fleshed out. We know what you want to do. You do it well. It's just a matter of kind of reframing it.
Yeah, just tweaking some things.
Yeah, and then making sure it goes in that line of what we're doing, why we're doing it, who we're doing it to, how we're going to do it to them, and this is what it's going to be. Thank you for coming. And then Jay, if you wanted, I know that was a little bit long, but yeah, Jay.
No, that was good. That was good. You got a lot of design elements in there that I wasn't gonna touch on, so I'm glad that you did that. For one, let me just frame this. I think that David is Simon, I'm Randy, and Dinah is Paula. I don't know. That's just what's going on right here. Because I think that was tight. That presentation was really nice. I really love the explanation and how deep you all dive. I think that every time that you talked about a decision that was made on a direction, like you justified it and you like explained why that was the best decision and why your audience is gonna like that and why it's gonna work with the overall campaign, which I think was really, really, really great throughout the entire presentation. So good job with that. I agree with Bill on that attention getter and having the presentation be more like dynamic, more movement. Spice things up a little bit. I agree with all of the design suggestions that David gave as well. As far as the beginning of the presentation, it was a little bit shaky. So maybe work on those introductions and like who's coming next and those transitions and, having faster transitions. Transition between Gabby and Robert could be a little bit faster. But I really do love that consumer explanation that you both gave, Robert and Gabby, on that slide. Gabby, I think you did a really great job, explaining that along with the goals. And then let me say one, I love y'all, but I'm really disappointed. Come on, we got to know the 4 steps to building brand identity. Okay, so the first one is solidifying the brand. You can't do anything until you figure out what the brand is all about. That's the first step. So y'all got to know these steps. Like solidify the brand, pinpoint the consumers, and then define the goals. And then from there, you can start building assets. That's the 4 steps to building brand identity. If you don't remember anything else in this class, please remember that. I don't know. If I ask y'all later on, y'all don't know, we might do a pop-up quiz. I don't know. Something gotta happen. We gotta get that in our heads. Solidify the brand. That's the first step. Figure out the brand. You can't do anything until you know what the brand is all about, what it stands for, what's the colors, what's the fonts. All of these things is going to be crucial into building those assets. So that's step 1. My bad. All right. That was in my notes because, yeah. A couple more things. Like I said, great job, Gabby, explaining those goals. Gabby, you did what is it called? Like an all-inclusive I forget what it's called. But I wanted to ask David and Bill, do you think that works as them being like the company pitching this? Does it work for them to attach themselves to the company and say that we want to provide this instead of saying that we want to help you provide this? I wrote that down because I just wanted to ask that question because I wasn't sure. It seemed like they worked when she was saying it, but does she want to make that distinction between her being a brand architect hired for the company, or does she want to attach herself to that company?
Well, what was the context? Did she say we as in we for this campaign, or did she say we as in we Kroger?
It sounded like we Kroger. It sounded like we want to show our employees this, and we want to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's our employees.
Yeah, no, I like the we language because it sounds like we're all on the same team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It could go both ways,
Yeah.
So you remember what I'm talking about, Gabby?
Yeah, I get what you're talking about.
Okay.
I wasn't sure either. I didn't know if that was the right thing to do. So
I think it was, Gabby. I think it worked. I thought
Oh,
it sounded sincere, and it sounded like you were fully invested and you were part of the team. And hey, we're all in this together. Let's work hard and get this done. Sounded good.
So I have a question. If that's what we're gonna do, I don't know if this would be like wrong by me, but when I go through my part of the campaign and everything, I mention at times, I think I say like Kroger associates, like we are gonna be, or this campaign will affect 17,000 Kroger associates. Is that still in line with like the kind of language that I'm using?
Sure.
I don't have to say like it's gonna affect all 17,000 of our associates.
Yeah, you use an outside as much as you can. I mean, the we works in that context, but mostly you're gonna want to use it outside in because they're consulting you from the outside.
Okay.
And but using language like Kroger instead of your, because see, if you said you're creating a us versus you dynamic. But if you say Kroger, that could be internal or external. So that I think that's the best language there. If you're just saying Kroger and you're keeping it kind of like third party.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do like in the context when Gabby was talking about it, like we want to show, we want to show that these rewards that can go both ways, because it's also like we as a whole team, as a collective, or we as the brand architecture team building this campaign for you. So I think that worked well, but it's good. That's why I wanted to bring it up so we can have that conversation, and we did. So that's great. Josie, great job explaining the distribution strategy. The only thing I would say, you said hopefully a couple of times in there, and just sound sure. Sound like this is what we're gonna do. You want to have like a huge amount of confidence when you're trying to pitch something to somebody. So take out the hopefullys, maybes. Like you want to sound super sure. The marketing goals, I love that like kind of map that you all point. Like you got the arrows going from first we want to gain awareness, then we want to do this, then we get in more enrollees. Like I like that roadmap that you take us on. I agree with Bill and David. Maybe pop them up after you to make more movement in the slides. But I definitely like that journey that you take us on with this campaign. One thing I put at the end of these notes that I guess I can just say it now is that I would like to see like a timeline, if that's possible. I know like maybe the next survey is your timeline. We want to make these changes and get awareness up to 80% before the next survey, which is on this date. So that way we can kind of get like this a more clear roadmap. Because you're already painting out the steps of how it's gonna what you're trying to do. Okay, so how long do we have to make that happen? I think what might be useful to paint that vision. The hidden paycheck piggy. I'm so glad that you all used that. That I think that's the goal right there. I think if Kroger runs with that hidden paycheck piggy, like that can get picked up national, and all because of you all in this class. So definitely I would try to take some time to work on that. If you have any trouble with Chris, just let me know and I can try to urge him from my side too. I know he's really busy, but he's trying to knock out everything for everybody. But I think that's something that he should definitely try to whip up for you all. I know he got the brochure and everything else, but like definitely get him to whip up that paycheck piggy. And also what David said too is that I think that other poster with the that other target audience might be useful as well. That might be a quick whip up. The brochure ideas, I love the idea of switching color schemes between different brochures. That was a great idea. And you all did an amazing job. Like I said, reassuring the decisions that you made. So Josie, you did a great job explaining why you want to have different color schemes and how it can feel better recognition. Make sure you do that again next week.
It looks great.
Sorry.
You guys are on the right track. I think you got enough to work on there.
Yep, I know, Bill. I got like 3 more.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done.
The hidden paycheck piggy, I do agree. Like it should be the Kroji design, but like definitely sell that. Please sell that idea of fueling brand awareness by having this mascot. Josie, I think you did a really great job explaining that, but like make sure you do it again next week and nail it on the head. Like we really want to fuel recognition by having this piggy as being like a symbol to fuel recognition for all of these rewards. So that anytime you look at that and you think about it, you did a great job bringing up the Geico lizard. David, I like that example with a paperclip. Like all of these things that can like paint that. And I think just selling the paycheck piggy, like will have Kroger, like whatever, everything else they said needs to go to, because that we want that. So, I think that's a strong point right there. The posters are fire, great explanations. The press release looks great. I love the email campaign idea. Robert, when you brought in that video treatment, that intro was fire. Do that again. I imagine you got that written down, but like we said with Kroger TV and the email campaign, and you kind of like framing everything that we just talked about, and then like talked about how this video fits in. That was a great job. Did a good job with that. Only question I had on the budget is like, how many posters and brochure does that give me? And why does that work for the campaign? Why does it work that we spend this amount of money on the brochures and I get this amount? Is that enough? Can you reassure me that that's enough?
How many Kroger stores are there in Michigan?
I think around
120 in Michigan.
120. So X
they-
number of posters per store, X number of brochures per store, kind of added up, and that number is what it is, and you can have some left over and over a year period of time. And anytime you do a brochure or package like that, you're going to want to refresh it after a year anyway. So you don't want to print too many of them. You want to print some up, and then you want to keep refreshing it every year with new information and new stuff on it and all that kind of thing.
Yep. Have a fund that you can go and do emergency prints and stuff like that. I think, Josie, you did a great job of coming in and explaining, like, you know, possible costs down the line. So that was great. And 18 minutes. So you still have some more time. You know, y'all still have some more time to go into some more stuff if y'all needed to. But like I said, I think you all did a really great job of explaining, like, I think this is a really dynamic campaign. You know, you got the Kroger TV, you got posters and brochures, and you hitting, like you said at the end, Max, you're trying to hit it at a bunch of different touch points. So I think that continuing to leverage that is going to help demonstrate the strength of the campaign. And then I do agree at the end, maybe take one of those logos off of this slide and put the paycheck picky, like David said. But that was a really great campaign. Both of them.
Both of them rocked. I love them.
Quicken Loans, do you have anything, suggestions or anything for Kroger? And Kroger, do you have any questions? Okay, Hannah, do you have anything that you want to say to either one of the groups?
Not really. Both the presentations were really good. I really liked what Rocket did, like with the Instagram and stuff. That was really impressive. I don't think anyone in my group did that last year. But I would say, you know, just like, it's like, I feel like everyone says this for presentation, but don't be nervous. When I present online, I usually just minimize the screen so I can just see myself talking, and that helps a lot. So if that helps anyone else too when they're presenting, yeah, that's pretty much all the advice I have.
I just thought of something for Kroger. Is there an internal employee benefits app of some kind? Is there a Kroger app for employees?
So yeah, so what it might be included on the internal management brochure. Like I said, there was some miscommunication with Chris, but yeah, there's a website called mylifeatkroger.com, and that's where they can find all of their anything that they need to know about their employment within Kroger. And it's on the brochure here. And so that's what they have for that, but the hourly associates don't have anything that they have like that.
Well, I have to ask the Quicken Loans group, how hard was that to make that QR code that you guys had? Because we could easily do a QR code like on our brochure.
That's real simple.
Thing.
Yeah, that just takes a second to.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. You could do it less than 5 minutes. You just have to look it up.
But what I was thinking was it might be cost effective to have an employee app, my Kroger app, that handles all employment issues, right? So it's an app that really covers, you know, it's scheduling, it's benefits, it's work-related policies. It's just everything you need to know, what's coming up in stores, cool things that are happening. One thing that is really important is connecting with employees and creating a better employee experience. That's a growing area in human relations, is employee experience. And we're in an app focused world where everybody has access to this kind of technology. And it's just a suggestion to maybe throw out an app that would make benefits is super easy to learn about and sign up. A website is often pretty cumbersome, you know, to actually have to go to a website and sort of filter through the whole thing. MSU doesn't have an app for its employees that really is needed because, you know, you got what, 25,000 employees at MSU, and we don't have an app that sort of lays out all this stuff either. And I think it would just be a good investment for them to think about. So it's something to think about, and another distribution channel for giving people information. So you want to just, ultimately, you'd want to drive people to the app to sign up for that. If you can do it on your phone and it's a mobile and it's easy and it's easy to find on the website, you might pay a little attention to the website to make it easy for people to sign up. Because everybody might be 100% convinced that this is a great idea and I want to sign up, but then when I get to the website, I have no clue how to do it. And it's going to take, half an hour for me to scroll through all this crap to figure out how to actually sign up for these benefits and make all these decisions that I need to make. So be aware of what you're driving people to do. And all of this is convincing, but if I get down to the end and it's too much of a pain to actually pull the trigger on the benefits, then the whole campaign is for naught. So we've got to make sure that it's easy for people to seal the deal, to actually sign up for the benefits. Because if we want to go from 35% to 80%, that's going to require, a very specific kind of behavior and make it easy for people to comply, not hard. That's my only point. I don't know.
I mean, MSU branding, we might need an app. They're easy to make now these days, Bill. That's a good idea.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Everything's on an app, and that's the culture that people are in.
Yeah.
If you don't have an app, that must means it's not important. Right. So everything is app driven these days. So that's just my thought on maybe another distribution thing or a suggestion on your final slide or something like that.
Yeah, definitely worth looking into. One thing I will say about an app, especially in context of this campaign, is that the app is going to have to be something that is very useful, not just like a one-time use thing, or then it wouldn't matter. If the goal is just to get them to sign up for this one time, then we don't need an app for that. But if we're trying to do something like continuously educate them or continuously be the place where people go to, ask questions or do something else or something else other than that initial sign up.
Because it's scheduling too, right? When am I working? Who's my manager? All that kind of stuff. McDonald's has that for their employees, I think.
Yeah.
It's just makes it super easy to comply with the request. You never want to make it difficult to comply with a request that you're making for people. Hey, sign up for benefits. Well, if it's a pain in the butt to sign up, but forget it. It's too much trouble.
Yeah.
So make it easy for people.
Awesome. Bill, can we stop recording?
I'm going to stop recording right